Okay, we're gonna just quickly go through this Braita. You're gonna see that I already have the whole translation filled in. So if you want to I will go through it, but if you want to kind of pause and check your translation against mine and fix any mistakes, you can start by doing that before you listen to the rest of the video. So, Tanurabanan, right? The rabbis taught that Shimon Hapakuli, right? He arranged Yudchet Brachot, the 18 blessings. We know what that is. Lifnei Rabban Gamliel, before, in front of Rabban Gamliel, Al HaSeder B'Yavne, right? Into an order in Yavne. Sentence number one. Now, we'll say a lot about that, but he did this. He arranged this thing before Rabban Gamliel into an order in this place. Amar lehem Rabban Gamliel l'chachamim. So Rabban Gamliel said to the other sages, Klum yesh adam, is there no one sheyodeh letaken birkat haminim? Well, it says tzedukim here, but is there no one who knows how to create the blessing of the heretics? Amad Shmuel HaKatan v'tikna. Shmuel HaKatan, guy, Shmuel the Small, got up and did it. Okay, that's our story. Just 3 sentences, very simple, but there's a lot here. So, number 1, the rabbis taught Tanur Rabbanan is a formula. We'll learn more about it, but the Gemara uses to introduce a teaching of the Tanaim. So, this is presumably a teaching of the same people who put together the Mishnah, and indeed is a story about Rabban Gamliel, who we know was one of the earliest Tanaim. Okay. So the first thing, Shimon Habakuli Hisdir, he arranged these 18 blessings. So what he was creating that was new was a structured ritual. Now, the verb Hisdir doesn't necessarily mean, but it suggests, and I really like the idea, that some of these blessings that he ended up including may have been around before, may have been different people had written at different times. Somebody said this one, somebody had that one. What did Shimon, and we also know that the Pharisees had already started to develop the idea that you can pray outside of the temple. Right? So there's already an idea of prayer that's composed just of words and not sacrifices. But Shimon Abakuli gathers this material, puts it into a structured, fixed form. In other words, even though the individual blessings might be old, the idea of a set, fixed ritual is brand new. He does it in front of Rabban Gamliel. That doesn't mean earlier than, it means in the presence of. Right? Rabban Gamliel is the Nasi, he's the head of the academy. He is the one in charge of this process, directing it. So even though Shimon Abakuli is mentioned here, the guy we're really interested in is Rabban Gamliel. He's the one who decided that we needed to do this. Al HaSeder, into a set order. He doesn't only tell us which blessings to say, he creates a fixed set order. Presumably, the order that has stuck with us, right, that we still do today. So in other words, the Amida that we know is the one that was created in this moment, right? The one that this story is, of which this story is describing its origins. Where did this happen? Be Yavne. You know Yavne. Right? This is the town with the academy started by Rabbi Yochanan Zakkai. Right? Just after the destruction. We know that Rabban Gamliel was one of the guys brought to that town by Rabbi Yochanan Zakkai. And so we know that this is happening shortly after the destruction of the temple. Obviously, that is important to us because the fact that trying to move on from the loss of the temple is one essential factor in understanding why they created the ritual that we have. Why this ritual and not a different kind of ritual? Yeah. So Rabban Gamliel says to the sages, is there anyone who can fix, which really means to establish, to compose, blessing of the heretics, Sadducees, the people who disagree with us, right? The blessing of the heretics clearly is not to bless them, but rather asking God to crush them, as we saw in the blessing in the Amida, that God needs to crush the wicked. Shmuel HaKatan, Shmuel the small, rises up to, right, and he does it, right? He creates this. So all of the other blessings may have been around before. The one that this story points to as being new is the one about the heretics. Why that one? Well, most likely because the rabbis are a new community. They're just establishing their theology. They're establishing their identity. And they have a lot to fear from people with other sets of beliefs undermining that new project and that new community. But so the blessing of the heretics is important, but to go back, the most crucial things are that while blessings may have been around, the structured fixed Amida that everyone would say was a new rabbinic creation. A new rabbinic creation guided by Rabban Gamliel, and therefore Rabban Gamliel is the one who really wanted it. That happened in Yavne, and therefore shortly after the loss of the temple. Now, if we can tie all of that back to Rabban Gamliel's position, what Rabban Gamliel is saying in Mishnah 4:3 about the 18 blessings, we suddenly have a much richer notion of what is at stake in the debate between Rabban Gamliel, Rabbi Shua, and Rabbi Kiva on the one hand, and Rabbi Eliezer on the other.